Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Colin Hunsiker. This week I'm here with special guest Dawson Crane. Dawson, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good, man. How about you?
Oh, I'm all right. I'm excited to have you here. I've got a couple questions for you. You, the first semester of this year, did not come to school. You went to online, and I've never done online, never really heard much about it, so I just kind of really wondered how that went for you.
Yeah, man, honestly, it wasn't terrible. I mean, you don't have to do it every day like you do in school as long as you get it done. It's actually not that bad. I mean, there's a lot of things on there that are kind of challenging because you don't have teachers, obviously. It's just online stuff. But, I mean, honestly, it ain't terrible.
So going to online, did you like not having to see other people all the time, like teachers and students that you maybe didn't get along with?
See, that's a downfall of it because you don't have a social life anymore. And honestly, when I was doing it, I noticed that, like, I would have trouble speaking to people. Like, I'd have trouble, like, making eye contact while speaking. And it honestly just kind of ruins your social life there for a bit. But once you get back into, like, regular school and all that, it's much, much easier.
So how was coming back to regular school after missing a whole semester?
Oh, it was pretty good. I'm pretty sure most of my friends were glad to see me. It was definitely a change, but I think the main problem was waking up because I usually wake up at 5:30, but I had to wake up at 5. At 30 minutes, it just really kills you.
Yeah. So you came back, and do you like going to regular physical school more than you do online?
Yes, I love it a lot better because you're not sitting at home all day staring at a screen. It's not really that fun when you're looking at a screen all day. It really hurts your eyes, but that and the lack of communication with other people, it really does get you.
So you're back now. What would you say was your favorite part of online compared to normal school?
I would say that my favorite part of online was like the health because it's very, very easy. And plus, I mean, it actually does teach you some things. But
so online, I don't quite know how it works. I know you have to get a certain amount of things done, but that surely doesn't take all day, does it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, some things they'll say they'll like recommend an hour. You're going to guesstimate like an hour is how long it would take. In reality, it's like 5 minutes, so you get it done pretty fast.
So compared to a normal school day, how long was it most days?
Just depended on what they decided to give you to work on. Like some days I could get it done in like an hour if I really tried, and then some days it was like 5 hours.
So if you're only doing that for an hour or maybe 5, that's a lot less time than a regular school day. So what did you do after you were done?
Well, most days I would go out and I'd start cutting wood. I'd sell chopped wood, get a whole abundance of that for winter time because I did it and it was like fall time, so people weren't really burning firewood yet. And then I would go to work on some days, cleaning out grain bins mainly at this time of the year. But while doing both of these activities, it really increased my bread, you know what I mean?
Got your money up?
Yeah, I got my money up, man. And this money, I actually got to purchase a new truck. Well, I got a loan for it, but making payments on that, and I can afford a payment now on my truck. I got a 95 F-250, man.
That's awesome. So because you went to online and you were able to have a lot more time and, I guess, work, you were able to purchase this truck?
Yeah, actually, because I wasn't in school as much, and if I was in school, I didn't have it as long, so I had time to work, and yeah.
So why did you buy this truck?
Bought it because I've really been looking for something to haul wood, and the old beater with the heater wasn't going to last much longer. Got about 200,000 miles on her, and she's about to go down the drain, man. Those spark plugs are coming out. So anyways, I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll get something, that'll haul wood and not break down on the side of the road. So I got my old 250.
That's a pretty good answer. Yeah. So you would say that while you were in online school, you learned a little more about money and payments, and would you say that helped with learning about real life?
Yeah. Online school, it honestly taught me more about, like, real life. Like, because in school you got, like, personal finance and all that stuff and math.
Right.
But they don't teach you, like, the real aspects of life and what actually happens in life. It's just classroom, like, education.
We took a personal finance class, and honestly, that taught me as far as what I know from school and not having much experience with banking and stuff like that. It taught me quite a bit, and I kind of wish that I had the opportunity to do an online course and a real life, kind of what you had, and compare the two, because what I learned in finance was a lot more than what I already knew. But with you getting the actual experience, I kind of want to see the similarities there.
Yeah, well, Personal finance, I will say that it actually did help me a lot in this school year so far, and that's because it teaches me more about like real life and what happens on the outside world. So,
Makes sense.
so how was in-person school while I was out?
It was different. I remember that you were supposed to be in one of my classes, and every day I would sit down, and then I'd remember you were sitting 2 seats behind me, and it was in Mrs. Flood's class, and you weren't there. So that was kind of weird. Missed having a class with you. It was a lot quieter, a little more peaceful in classrooms.
I don't know about that now.
Mm-hmm. But it was all right. At the time that you left, we were still under mask mandates and a lot of COVID restrictions and stuff like that. So it was a lot like freshman year, and then around the end of first semester. So that made it, we came back to a pretty normal school, and around that time you came back. But while you were gone, every single week we had fifth period lunch, and half of the school would eat out in the cafeteria, and it was only 4 to a table. And the other week you would eat back in your classroom, and sometimes you could move around, sometimes you couldn't. You had to sit at your assigned seat, so it was kind of different.
So, did everything change back to normal when I came back at semester?
Yeah, after the mask mandate was lifted and a lot of restrictions were gone, it was really different for us because through our end of eighth grade to our whole freshman year to half of our sophomore year, so basically a whole 2 school years combined, we lived under the COVID restrictions and everything like that. So we didn't really know what normal high school was like. I mean, eating every single person out there in the commons at the same time, it was a lot different. The tables are a lot more packed. It was really weird the first couple weeks.
Yeah, I noticed that when I came back. It was kind of odd because I left when we were like still eating in classrooms and all that. And I came back and we were all in the cafeteria. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it was, I mean, just even being here with the change, sometimes you'd just be walking through the hallway and you'd kind of grab your face and you're like, oh, where's my mask?
Yeah.
Well, you don't need it anymore. And
yeah,
I mean, it was good. I'm glad we are back to normal, and I'm glad that we figured it out because I think going the whole 4 years without kind of realizing what normal high school would have been like would be really weird. But I'm also really glad we got the experience of living in like pandemic rules. Yeah. So really, that was what school was like while you were gone. I mean, really, anything else you want to ask me?
Yeah. So what did you do on your free time after school?
It was basically the same thing every day. It was with football. And now that we bring that up, I actually forgot that football was a lot different at a couple times. We ended up splitting varsity and JV. When we went out to the locker rooms after school, varsity went in, and we had 5 minutes to change, get all our gear on, and get out. And then JV went in, and they came out to reduce the risk of COVID spreading. And there was a lot of times we were required to wear masks in the locker room because someone had gotten COVID. We were required to wear them on the bus. Our coaches wore them during games.
Did you guys take 2 separate buses in, or was it just one?
Yeah, we did. And it could have been for COVID, but I also think it was the amount of players we had. I mean, football teams are usually pretty big. We brought players, coaches, cheerleaders, stat girls. So, yeah, and they tried to space us out, wear masks, stuff like that. And it was weird. The coaches wearing them on the sidelines. Injured players had to wear them. And it was different. There was a couple times with our freshman year, we all got quarantined. I remember a big group of us, anytime someone would get COVID. But
yeah,
it was basically just football every day after school. Go home, get your homework done, wake up the next morning, back here, 8:06 in class.
Oh man, that sounds fun.
Well, okay, so I'm talking like I lived in a cycle here because I do. It's a routine. That's what school is. Did you like that aspect of online not having to be a routine every day?
Well, in a way, I wasn't a routine, but I think it was more of a routine because it just wasn't like a timed routine. Like I would do the same things, it just wasn't at the same time each day. So like if I had 1 hour of school, I would wake up, do that, and then I would either go to work at a different time or just do something else. But it was 9 times out of 10, it would have been doing something like work, like wood or something like that.
So would you say that you stayed on track as well as you would have on a timed routine?
I think that, say I was in school, I would have it would have been more of a timed routine than I was. It just wasn't like timed, I guess.
Right. So would you I don't know how to ask this, really. Did you find yourself doing better at time management and getting everything done without a timed routine, or would you have rather had set restrictions and stuff?
I think that I was kind of lacking, I will say that, because, you didn't have to wake up, like, at a certain time. Like,
Right.
could have been, like, 30 minutes off or something, and it wouldn't have mattered. But now that I'm in school, it does matter, because every 30 minutes can make a big difference on your grades.
And that's what I've heard about online. I know some kids, they just don't like real physical school, so they go online and they really just drop everything. So
Yeah.
you came back, and obviously you're doing fine in school right now, so you were only gone a semester. Clearly it didn't hurt you much, but do you think that being in online for 4 years would have drastically changed?
Yes, it would have. I think personally, for me, not everybody, I think it would have taken me down like the wrong hill, I guess, because I wouldn't have talked to many people. I wouldn't have really done much besides the same things, working and cutting wood and all that. But
Yeah.
I think that school life is actually much better for kids. But
Yeah.